by the way, Dad, we live together now. He moved.
What the hell? So all of a sudden, well, hold on a second, Dad. We live together now. She hadn't told her dad. She's bombshell updates, and has anyone at all actually learned anything? We will see where that ended up in this Where Are They Now kind of episode to wrap up our season of Married at First Sight. But first, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications if you want to support the channel. Drop a super thanks. Y'all are awesome. And let's wrap it up and see where they're at. Who's got confidence? Drop it in the comments.
I took a leap of faith, but it was worth it.
I think we both took a leap.
I took a leap of faith, but it was worth it. But I don't really know how because, well, we'll see how she's still tied to Ikechi as it goes on. And oh, by the way, I'm still not convinced that he actually doesn't want anything more than fame or, I don't know, a nicer place than a couch at his sister's place. But we'll see if he's actually genuine.
My goal is to make your mother.
What now? My goal is not, true happiness, is not, security, is not all these things. My goal is to make you a mother. Now, if I was a skeptical man, kind of am, I would say he's trying to lock her down. The question is why? I mean, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes for him, but by all intents and purposes, from everything we know with Emem, she is pretty successful. So, ulterior motive there? Or just the fame of being on the show? Either or doesn't seem like a really good motive.
I'll be civil, but...
Well, all I want you to do is not get triggered and not waste your energy on that.
I can't. Listen, we're adults here. This is the one thing that they like to use when it comes to, basically getting your feelings hurt. Is everything is, I don't want you to get triggered. Like, we're adults here. You went through this situation. Y'all both had a big part to play in it. Why the hell would you be triggered? Let it go. And at this point, it seems like everyone's let it go. So I was, I was in the let it go phase of them, kind of like, what's the point of keeping on riding with it? We'll see where they go. I don't think they're going to last, but to be determined. But now it seems like they are rebringing up the drama, not so much with Alan, because who can really say anything negative about Alan? Not many people, but more so with Michelle.
Families get along really well. I mean, you know how important my dad is to me.
So this is the whole thing. They're going to meet up with their families. Our families get around really well. I hope that at least when all of this went down, their families pointed out the fact that be on the lookout for the red flags because y'all both had stuff going on and y'all both need to be aware that it doesn't seem like there was a whole lot of growth. I doubt their family would say anything like that or at least had a serious talk about, have you grown, son? Have you grown, daughter? Have you done this? Are you really ready this time? But I don't think they really have. I think it's more like, oh, I'm happy you found this person. And then everyone's going to be devastated when one of them screws the other one over.
I don't know what I did to deserve him, but I'm going to make sure that he...
What you did to deserve him is screw over your husband and completely be dishonest and very cold from the beginning. That's what you did to deserve David, who is also not a great guy. Now, listen. I am not beyond someone getting redemption, so I really, really hope that they have both grown. I hope that they make this last because, quite frankly, that's what's best for everyone. Be better, be a better person, have someone get married, have a life together, have a family, have that support. That is ideal, and I hope it works out for them. But if you watch throughout this episode, I am not seeing much growth from either of them. They're the same person that when they met a year ago. That is not a good sign.
And I think what she did was hurtful.
Oh.
Very hurtful and demeaning.
Yeah, okay, true. And you know what? I was riding with them in the beginning. I was riding with David in the beginning until he did what he did. But let's not excuse Michelle. What Michelle did was wrong. She was very judgmental in the beginning, and some of that was reasons that she should have at least had questions, but to be as wrong and as kind of just not very nice as she was, it was completely wrong. Madison is not doing this for the right reasons. Madison is trying to keep that drama going, trying to make herself look better by saying she owes an apology because of the bad things she did. Now, in reality, Michelle kind of flips it a little bit, and we'll see that later and see how she comes in and actually looks like the better person. But Madison is petty. Madison has not shown growth.
Probably towards the end of the first week. So you gave it, what, 4 or 5 days?
Yeah, exactly.
Husband.
Yeah, exactly. So he's got a point there. And look, Alan is not being petty here, and they're just talking about what he's been through. So credit to Alan. He's probably been the most mature one in all of this and had every reason to be angry like he was when he first found out. But he does make a point, though. How much of a chance did you really give it? It was like 4 or 5 days before y'all were jumping into the next one.
You know, like watching it back is.
It's okay. You said
Yeah,
you were having a brat girl summer.
Okay, yeah, let's not brat girl summer. Let's not throw this young whippersnappers out there in your lingo, put that on it to make it sound better than it was. Michelle is being honest. Good for her.
Yeah. But like watching it back is so cringy. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, she did not just say those things or do those
Yes.
things.
Yes, and this is what I'm talking about with the growth from her, and it gets even better for her. So this is the way you go about it, and this is what you do to show growth. You actually have some introspection. You actually can look inside yourself. You see some of these things back, and instead of making excuses for why it was, which she did in the show, her excuses were, well, he did this, he lived in the basement, all those things. But seeing it back, now it's like, no, I was just wrong. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it here. She just did wrong. Now, David, every time he came to an apology, it was, but you did this to me. That is not growth. And he's still doing that on some level, or at least trying to make it seem like he's the stronger, better person when he's talking about how his growth, which there is none.
Equally. Or just, no, it was like equal. We were, and I was like,
Talking about someone she went on a date with.
what's your plan?
So basically, what the question was, do you want someone free-spirited like you? She's saying she went on a date with someone free-spirited, and she's looking at that person like, what the hell, man? We're never going to get anything accomplished, basically. And this is a good kind of realization to be like, look, it's all nice in theory to look at someone and look at people and be like, I want someone that's like me. I want someone that likes all the things. You don't want someone that's completely just adversarial towards you, but having someone that has a different way of doing things or a different kind of resolution, or not resolution, but a different kind of standard, a different kind of way of seeing the world can be actually powerful, and you can come together and complement each other. That's the great thing about a relationship. It's not about finding your perfect identical match to you. It's about finding someone that complements you, and sometimes that's someone with an opposite whatever personality trait, because you can balance each other out.
But I want to make sure that Camille is established in her career,
Okay,
and that we're in a good place to take that next step.
The question, and their relationship gets kind of interesting when it comes to some of this and how they're talking about things and how they're describing where they're at. It's not the most promising, but we'll see a little bit more of that. But they're talking about kids here. Now, he goes on to say, establishing her career and, make sure she's ready to make that next step. Camille's in her mid-30s, okay? This is the time, and his brother makes a good point in just a second, but when you're in your mid-30s and you're a woman, not that you can't have kids, not that you can't have a kid at 40, but your clock is ticking, and once you obviously get up there are more risks, and it's more, or it's less likely to actually have a pregnancy. So if you prioritize your career now, more so than your family, you may have regrets later if you're unable to have that family. So things to consider.
Yeah, also note that, you have forever to be established in your career. You don't have forever to have children. So
now, that's what I'm talking about. Now, you don't have forever, obviously. You're probably not going to be wanting to start a new career at 55 or 60 years old. But at the same time, when it comes to your biological clock or being able to start something new, yeah, theoretically, you could start a career whenever you want. But at some point, you're not going to be able to have children anymore. So he does make a good, valid point there. But I think, aside from the children issue, they have some other issues that they got to work out and kind of figure out where they're at, because they kind of said some alarming things throughout this episode.
you feel like you can't live without the person, where it's like that,
statement.
you're without a question, you love the person. So
Okay, that's an interesting statement, and it depends on what you mean. So where you can't live without the person. Okay, are you saying that you cannot see yourself leaving, or are you saying you can't ever be apart from that person? Sounds like to me he's saying you want to be to the place where you can't ever see yourself leaving, like actually leaving, breaking up, whatever, getting a divorce. Okay, and he's not there. Yeah, that's kind of a problem when you decide to stay married and you want to spend this life together. I understand this is a different situation. Doesn't really matter in the fact that you still chose to stay married to this person, so it is not about finding your one. It is not about like, oh, love at first sight. No, what this is about is once you get married, You choose that person every single day. The second he decided to stay married to her, you need to choose that person every day. Some days are going to be hard. Some days you're going to fight. Some days you may not like each other that much. But you choose each other every day because you do love that person. Even if you're not waking up like, oh my God, heart beating like Pepe Le Pew, like just floating through the air, trying to get to that, the other cartoon character, whatever. It's not like that. That's not reality. But you do choose that person because you love them. And he is not there. And that's a little concerning.
I thought that I was going to be first, but like
talking about getting married and having kids. He's talking to his brother.
Are you first, but you have two before I even like have anybody to have kids with.
Yes, exactly. You know what I see there? I see envy. Ikechi has envy of his brother. He wants that. The problem with Ikechi is he also has not shown any growth. It's okay if Emem was not someone that he wanted to spend his life with. He went about it the wrong way. He was completely wrong, but that's okay. I mean, that's okay. You can move on. I hope it works out with her and Brandon, but I got my holdups about that. But either way, he can move on. He can find someone he's happy with. The problem is he's shown no growth. So he can see his brother with the kids and the happy life and family and say, I want that. I see that. I thought I was going to be first. But if you haven't changed anything, if you're still bouncing from hobby to hobby, if you're still doing your art exhibits and your music and your all these things, but you're not putting focus in actually building a life with someone else and a family, you just want it to come to you. And that's that ego. He has that ego right now that he can't seem to shake. And that's going to be a problem. Again, I'm not, beyond redemption. I think everyone on some level, okay, well, if you talk about some heinous crimes, maybe that's a struggle. But in life, in regular people, there can be redemption, but you have to work towards it. And Ikechi hasn't shown, there's no growth. There's no growth there.
I got to give her credit. She had a pretty good idea. It's bittersweet. I wanted to have things work between Karla and I, but
I think there's a little bit of like kind of a little question. Now, Juan is in a relationship, and he's been in this relationship for a year, but they're working well together now, and I think it's kind of like when you have that friendship, it's like you built that friendship. Now it's kind of like a question in the back of your mind of what could have been. They could have been good together, and I think he and her at points are kind of questioning that. They don't say it, that it's not explicit, but I really think in the back of their mind they're thinking, could we have made it work? What could have been?
Maybe.
Clearly, he's open to a more laid-back lifestyle if his girlfriend is also in the beauty industry.
Yep.
And then just the other day, he mentioned tarot cards.
So, in essence, the funny part about this is, I'm not saying she's identical to Karla, but Juan found someone that was very similar to Karla in something he said he wasn't open to, which is interesting, and also probably making Karla say, what the hell, what's wrong with me? Why couldn't we make this work? And, for her, it was obviously the affection thing, a lot of it. But, like I said, I know he's been with this girl for a year. Stay tuned. You never know. You might have a resurgence of Karla and Juan.
Tell me a little bit about how we ended up here.
Reasonable question. Just how did we get here? What's going on? All right. Let's see how he answers.
I was introduced to my wife at the altar.
Okay. All right. Not bad to know. It's like, okay, fine.
A very unique situation.
Okay.
It was me trying to be as vulnerable as possible, like letting go of all of the control.
Okay, starting to become some sort of therapy session of, hey, feel bad for me.
That I think I have in order to allow someone else.
She's like, what is, okay, continue.
Appreciate you sharing that with me. I appreciate you being open.
Sure.
How long have you been married?
But sure, I appreciate you being open. But I was really talking about like the length of marriage. Like he opened up like a therapy session about feel sorry for me. This is what happened. It wasn't the one. It didn't work out. She did this, and it's like, but how long have you been married? And are we looking at a contested divorce? She wanted the basics, and he just completely was like, I need you to feel sorry for me because no one else does.
She gave me clear instructions, the expectations of everything that will happen next.
This is performative. Nothing but performative madness. Why are you going to a divorce lawyer right now? You know damn well that the show has all this set up. No one else had any kind of like, hey, we're going to show what's going to the divorce lawyer. No, instead, and it might have been more entertaining with like David and Madison going to the divorce lawyer or Alan and Michelle. No, because this is just not, this is BS. This is all performative BS because he brought those fake papers and now they're like, let's play this up as a storyline because we need content for the Where Are They Now episode. So make no mistake, this is theater. That's all it is.
You know, we're getting all the libations set.
All right, I gotta be careful with these.
Yeah.
The last time I was here, your girl was lit.
Okay, you were lit. You're lit every time you walk in the room. I think she wakes up drinking. I'm pretty sure that Madison has a problem, and we will see that going throughout. If you cannot enjoy yourself without drinking, which every time she's out in some kind of social setting, she's drinking. I'll tell you what, I have a challenge for you, but we'll get to that.
We love you guys. You guys mean a lot to our heart, and I know you guys are going to be friends for us for life. You guys are stuck with us. Sorry.
Yeah. All right, seriously, everything David says is performative. Again, this is kind of a theme with some of these people that weren't the most genuine. Ikechi and David, performative madness. Everything he says out of his mouth does not really have or seem like it rings true or is genuine. It just seems like it's put on. It just seems like it's for the cameras. It just seems like it's, hey, look at me over here. Every time. It's just the way he says things, the way he does over the top, the way he does the ha 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 and looks up and everything like that. It just doesn't seem like it's something he really means.
To be in this just because we said yes on decision day.
Oh,
We're still going to be realistic with each other.
Oh.
You know, continue to grow and continue to get better.
That was his way of telling her that I don't know if I'm in this, because one thing he said to his brother that I didn't play in the clip was that, you know, having to decide whether this is forever because he just doesn't know. So that's kind of concerning when you chose your wife, when you chose the person you're supposed to be with forever. And instead of like being just like, I'm going to make this work every single day, I'm going to work at it, he's not sure. And right there, the way he said that is, yeah, you know, making those decisions after decision day and kind of, it's his way of telling her, like, I'm not sure about our life together forever, without coming out and saying, hey, I'm having doubts, because, you know, he kind of hides it himself. Like, look, I try to be nice to Thomas because he seems like a good guy, but he's not the strongest person. He's not the most outspoken person. He doesn't like the conflict. And I'm sorry, but as a man, if you can't deal with some conflict, it's not going to go well in pretty much many situations in life.
That's the one.
That's the one? Huh?
Maybe the one.
Maybe, but I have to decide if I can afford it because I'm probably paying for it.
I think there was a little bit of a shutdown.
Okay, okay.
But at the same time, how the hell do you handle something that you've never experienced in your life?
Okay, see, the excuses of this. Listen, we can acknowledge that it is a different, weird situation that they're dealing with because you're married at the altar. You've never met this person. That is clearly an odd situation. There are 18 seasons. Now, this was 18, so before you got on, there were 17 seasons. If you signed up for Married at First Sight, maybe do a little bit of, you know, rudimentary research, just a little bit, maybe watch a few episodes. It is not all like, you know, rainbows and, you know, candy and gumdrops or whatever the hell the saying is. It's not all of that. It's kind of a nightmare in a lot of instances because you've never met this person. It's uncomfortable. Think of like trying to meet a friend and like the first time you hang out or something, sometimes it's awkward. This is your wife or your husband. It's even worse. So always excusing it of, this is, you know, this is, oh, it's just no one understands it. It's this situation. I'm like, yes, don't sign up for it because it's going to be awkward. You have to ride or die with it. You have to accept the situation and you have to just be in it instead of always making an excuse. And Alan kind of excused him there by saying, look, yeah, you weren't really open with us, but, you know, I feel like, you know, it's a lot to deal with. Like, no, don't excuse it, okay? You can kind of say, hey, we're going to just kind of put that, what's in the past. Y'all can hang out, whatever. I get it. Probably nothing wrong with the bros hanging out. But you don't need to excuse it by saying no one understands what we go through kind of thing.
And I hope that, you know, when the cameras shut off, I hope that wasn't the only reason why, you know, he was here.
Yes, talking about Brandon and Emem. So he's sitting there putting like, Emem wants to be in a marriage. She wants to be in a you know, committed marriage. Brandon, you know, I don't know him that well. He started coming around a little bit, but I hope when the cameras turn off that he's still in the same spot. 100%. Right now, he is showing, or at least appearing to show, that a lot of what he wants is the camera. A lot of what he wants is the spotlight. The thing with Emem, one thing I will say about her is as much as this was very sudden, she seems like she's happy in it. That stank look she had on her face the whole way through being with Ikechi is not really there so much anymore. It's more of happiness. I think she really does want that committed relationship, and because Brandon asks, she accepted. Problem is I don't think Brandon really wants those same things, and I don't think they're going to last. And he is trying so hard to get right to making a baby.
I'm going to be around Madison. I know once this all wraps and the camera goes away, I probably won't ever see them again.
And there you go. Just basically admitted that we have contractual obligations. We have to go to these events. It's not about the girls having fun or the boys having fun. And, and when this is over, I'll never see her again. So take that to, take note of that and let it be known that, everything we kind of knew is really true. And whenever they bring these people back and say, hey, how's it going? Oh, we have a group chat, we talk. Maybe, but I'm doubting you're hanging out very much. It's, hey, y'all got to do these events. And once we wrap that final, where are they now? Then you're free to go.
The scents are super, just kind of like, warm and sweet, kind of fostering that.
And dull. That's what she wants to say. They are both, this is the problem with Thomas and Camille. The way that they're talking in this episode, they both seem very bored with the relationship. Will they last long term? They better figure it out now, because if they don't figure out a way to kind of navigate this relationship, animosity is going to grow on both their parts, and it's not going to end well.
Yeah. Madison, what'd you do?
I called mine drunken love.
Of course you called yours drunken love, because that's all you got. Everything you do is, we got to drink, we got to do this, we got to do that. You know what? Y'all need to let go of the alcohol. Look, I'm going to get to my challenge for them. I'm going to get to it. And if they can complete my challenge, because naturally, of course, they're probably watching the show and saying, hey, I'm going to do that guy's challenge. But I'm still going to say it. If they do a challenge, I am willing to be more open to their relationship. But they have to complete my challenge. Okay, all right, ladies, inhale deeply as you listen to this weird marble tambourine go back and forth. Listen to the sounds, and then just breathe in and out, and poof, your problems are gone. Like, she puts too much emphasis on this stuff. Look, if you can find a way, or if, meditation is your thing, and, some of the sounds I know can help with that, great. But Karla puts a little bit too much emphasis on this, and sometimes she always busts out something new. And I don't know about this little marble thing, but it looks like something made in craft class for 4 and 5-year-olds. Just saying.
Any type of resentment I have in my life and in different parts of my life. Just letting things go. And
right then, she looked over at Madison. Not really, but I could see just a glare and then keep talking like, you, Madison, I want to let things go. I'm like, okay, why are you still holding on to it? Michelle's not saying anything. She's not saying anything. And again, a little bit later, you'll see why Michelle's showing more growth than either one of them.
She treat me as I'm arguing with my husband. But you're not married.
Yeah, point.
I want to be a husband.
Look at that. Everything, nothing about this guy seems genuine. Again, Brandon, David, Ikechi, all of them don't just come off as genuine. It looks like you're trying to sell it. She treats me like her husband. Okay, Pastor Cal rightfully says, but you're not her husband. But I want to be her husband. He's trying to be Rico Suave, smooth move going on all the time. Just walking in with a little bit of a pimp walk and yeah, baby, I got you, right? And she's just smitten because she just wants to be in a loving relationship. It's kind of sad because Emem just wants to be in a loving marriage relationship. And this guy, he's got taken advantage of all over his face, or taking advantage of Emem all over his face.
Focus on that pain, or focus on our past.
No.
We focus on our future.
Okay, this is the thing, and Pastor Cal goes on to say, it's great. It's great. You're focusing on your future. Okay, but if you don't acknowledge the things in the past, and this is the thing, they're talking about both of their fathers passed away. Really sad. That sucks, and I can't even imagine. But they're talking about maybe they had some kind of trauma bond because they both had that in common. And she goes on to say, no, we're not looking at the past, we're looking at the future. You have to acknowledge the past. You don't want to forget the past. You want to work through it if you have a trauma, but you don't want to forget the past. It's what makes you who you are. So keep that in mind. She's quick to say, no, we're going forward, trying to get Pastor Cal on board. it's not always the best way to do that either.
My energy, I know.
Yeah, dude.
I know.
He can't help it.
I'm sorry.
You like big. So I'm like,
Big.
okay.
And put on, by the way.
So just sitting here talking to you, getting to know you.
Yeah.
I see what you see in him.
Okay, yeah.
I'm glad that you found him.
Are you really? And oh, by the way, going on to say that I'd be happy to do you in the commitment ceremony. Keep that in mind. It's not a marriage. They are putting this on for this last episode as a commitment ceremony because they can't get married apparently because for whatever reason, Ikechi and Emem are still married. So this seems like all theater. So like I said, the whole divorce lawyer thing, theater. But maybe it's still true. Maybe this was all part of the game. Maybe they're playing it up for them to not be really married, but they want to put something on the show. Either way, it kind of sounds like a conspiracy theory, but it doesn't seem like the stars are aligning for them. Now, whether that's put on by them, I don't know. I think Brandon's got something to do with it for sure. And MM might just be an innocent bystander, but she's clearly getting taken advantage of on some level.
For our families to coincide and be one just big, giant family drinking Jaeger, playing pool, darts.
There it is. Okay, every time, it's about the alcohol. I can't wait for our families to join so we can be drinking Jaeger. Everything leads with alcohol with them. With David, with Madison, everything leads with alcohol. Make no mistake. Every time they talk about something having fun or something like that, it leads with alcohol. Here's my challenge. All right, if y'all can actually, still do your thing, go out, have fun, but not drink, and do it for a period of time. Why? Why do you need to? If you can have fun, if it's not a problem, just don't do it. Don't do it for a month. If you can not drink, continue to go out and have fun, whatever, y'all can spend time together and not drink for a month, I would at least be willing to acknowledge that you might actually be serious about this. Because why do you need to drink? Yeah, nothing wrong with people having a drink every now and again, but when you start making it seem like you have to have fun to have a drink, that's a problem. I'm not even saying you're an alcoholic. I'm saying that your body is having a different kind of response in realizing that, hey, I need to drink to have fun instead of like, I can just have fun outright, like, a regular person. So I challenge y'all to do that to help your relationship. Because right now, what it seems to me is that you have a relationship that is based on alcohol, clubbing, and fun. That's it, instead of real life things. If you can't come up with the real life things that you need to deal with or be able to deal with those real life things and not just like, oh, but it's okay because we can go out and we can get drunk, you're going to have a really, really rough time. And trust me on this, you're both probably going to cheat on each other.
By the way, Dad, we live together now. He moved.
What the hell? So all of a sudden, hold on a second, Dad. We live together now. She hadn't told her dad. She's so close with her dad, but she hadn't told him that they were living together. Red flag, alarms going off, and all of a sudden now it's, hey, Dad, we live together while you're playing pool with his family? Like, what kind of maturity level is that? Like, I don't know, middle school, elementary school? It certainly is not adult level. So what is the problem there? And why were you so afraid to tell him? Now, I've had problems with her dad because I don't think he makes good decisions. I don't think he gives you good advice. Now, that's your dad, so he can say what he wants. You're a grown woman. But he's the one that kind of just downplayed what you did in your relationship instead of like being like, Madison, you effed up. So I don't really pay much attention to his advice, but at the same time, this was wrong. And this kind of raises the question of why.
And can do everything that she's wanted to do.
Okay. Yeah, nice.
You are a fantastic man. I think you're the perfect mix for her.
Perfect.
I mean, we were hoping
fantastic
that
mix.
This experience would bring something
Sure.
for her.
We were hoping, and you're fantastic, and you're this great man. You know what the problem is? In his confession right before that, he said it's concerning that she wouldn't tell him. Why wouldn't she tell him? I think it's too fast that they're moving in together. He just said that right before, and then sits down and says, you're a fantastic man. They've been together for a year. Why is it too fast? Unless you see some things that might be of concern. So this is why it's a problem, and this is why he is not acting in the best interest of his child and being a good parental figure. I understand she's grown. She could do what she wants. But as her father, it's still you to say, hey, think you're moving too fast. Hey, this might not be the right way right now. Why don't you take it a little slower? But instead you're like, oh, he's a fantastic man, while also behind her back saying, oh, I think it's too fast.
When the time's right, the stars will just align on that too. And, you know, we might have a little Camille running around.
Okay, see what I'm saying? They're just like, when the time's right, the stars will align. Listen, if this is kind of a tactic because you're not really sure in your relationship right now, both of you, and you're kind of like brushing it off, okay, that's fine, because you certainly don't want to be having children, building a family when you're just going to divorce and have a broken family, of course. But if you're really serious about making this work and you want kids, talking about, hey, when the time is right, the stars will align, that time may pass if you don't think about it now and kind of have a plan, because he's older. Yeah, I get it. He's in his 40s. But for her being in her mid-30s, I think she's 33 to 35. I can't remember her exact age. But either way, you know, that clock is starting to tick. And I'm not saying, of course she could have kids right now, but 1 year, 2 year, building up my career, 3 year, 4 year, that's going to come and go pretty quickly. You might want to start thinking about things now.
I know that it exists. I am still searching for it.
Sure.
And I will find it.
You will only find it if you have growth. You have no growth right now. Once you have growth, then you will actually be able to find it. You need to pull back, knock down the ego a little bit, drop some of that self-centeredness, maybe stop focusing so much on your hobbies and actually focus on wanting to build a family. Instead, what you did was you went on a TV show to not only get publicity, but hope that, A, you'll get the publicity, and then you also might be able to have the benefit of having a marriage because they figure it out for you and you don't have to find it, instead of putting in the work yourself. And you did not put in any work for this one. So if you are able to do those things and grow, then you will be able to have a relationship and you will be redeemed. Because, like I said, anyone can have the redemption. You know, no one on the show was evil or anything like that. People are flawed. All people are flawed on some level. Some come out worse than others. So there is redemption. But you have to grow. You have to work on yourself. And he has not done that yet.
And I know you're attracted to each other.
Sure.
You can't keep your hands off of each other.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's lust, you know. That's lust, that's infatuation. Just because you're attracted to someone, just because you can't keep your hands off of them, that does not equal love. That does not equal marriage. So the fact that Pastor Cal is kind of invoking this and saying, hey, I know y'all are attracted to each other, of course there's more to it than that. And he does say that on some level, but the fact that he's there officiating a promise ceremony. This is in essence a promise ring ceremony, because right now they're not getting married. They're giving each other rings, so it's like a promise ring ceremony. It's really bizarre. It's like, I'm committing to you to get married in the future. Okay, why aren't you divorced now and just get married now if that's true?
Planting the seed, and that seed is growing.
And we're going to water it every day.
Every day.
We're going to plant the seed. We're going to water it. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to put fertilizer on it. I'm going to till the ground. I'm going to be out there with my floppy hat. I'm going to get my knee guards so I can get on there and I can make sure I grow everything and everything's going to be great. Like, this guy is so, he didn't say all that, but he is the type that would say all that, like just go over the top to try to prove to you how he is going to make this relationship work, because he wants you to believe him, not because he's going to actually do it. Once the cameras stop rolling, I venture to say it's going to be a different situation. But he's definitely going to try to convince you it's not.
So I'm just thankful, and I appreciate you, and I love you.
Love you more.
Okay. Oh, what? Oh, hello. Oh, God. That was weird. That was a weird interaction kiss. Like, it's just like he didn't want to kiss her. Like, he didn't know what she was doing. Like, let's look at that again. Let's see it again. Hold on. Like, look, he's pulling back. Like, she is going in and he is pulling back. This is performative for it. I'm sorry, I know I've said that word, it's redundant, but at the same time, this is performative. He's pulling back from her kissing, and then he ends up going to the side. Look at him. Watch. Like, he ends up going, he pulls back, and then he goes to the side. He's like, that's not even a smile. That's kind of like a cringe. Look at his face there. This is an interesting interaction, because he clearly... Well, okay, I don't say clearly because he's really trying to sell it, but if you look at his face and look at his movements, it does not look like he really wants this. It looks like there's an ulterior motive. Is it the cameras? Is it because she can provide because he's, was sleeping on his sister's couch? I don't know, but there's something more there. Be wary, Emem. Look for the red flags and stop being blinded by the hearts in your eyes for, the love, the infatuation, whatever. You're blinded by it.
That I was like being a brat and had pretty bad behavior.
So she pulled him to the side and said she wanted to talk to him. Of course, we're like, oh, is there going to be a big thing? Madison's looking over and everything. But, of course, it's better than that.
I think watching it back now, I didn't realize how
rude and unfair I was being to you.
Impressive. Impressive and deserves to be commended.
And that was completely and totally uncalled for. But now that I've seen it, actually myself, I'm embarrassed of myself totally.
Exactly. This is just completely like you just a true, genuine apology.
I just want to say I'm so sorry for that. Like,
I do appreciate that.
So great, you know, that's all it was. There was nothing to it. I am so sorry. I saw this. I mean, I kind of knew I was being a little over the top, but when I saw it back, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is true self-reflection. This is like, oh my gosh, I was wrong in this. Completely not even saying anything about what he did later. Just, I did you wrong and I'm sorry. Didn't follow up like he did with, but you did this to me or anything like that. Nope, just complete, genuine apology. And what is his response?
Percent did not deserve that. So.
Well, I appreciate that
of course.
so much.
Yeah. And
that you grow and get everything.
I hope that you grow. His only response can't be, you know, Madison, or not Madison, you know, Michelle, I really appreciate that. Thank you for saying that. And, you know, I'm glad we can be cordial. That's it. Instead, I hope you continue to grow. I'm like, why don't you continue to grow? You have no growth. You keep telling people you have growth. You keep telling people you're strong and can deal with this and everything. It has not been seen. Have you ever heard actions speak louder than words? Case in point, David.
Hoping and wanting to find a partner.
Oh.
I know that I didn't handle things in the best way, especially at certain times, but David.
You didn't handle things good the whole time. Like, you never handled things good. Not one time did you handle things good. But again, this is the whole excuse of the behavior. You'd be better off saying, I didn't handle things good the whole time, but I'm happy I found someone, and leave it at that. Instead, it's like, I know I didn't, it's the downplay. I didn't handle things good at points the whole time. The absolute whole time. And you were almost worse because you were just cold. You played through it like everything was good, and then when Alan would try to get a little bit deeper with it, you just really downplay it. We're really cold. So stop trying to downplay it. Just say you were an awful person throughout. You're not truly a bad person, but you were awful throughout this.
I'm proud of the way I conducted myself. I'm glad I stuck to my values. Yes. And I have no doubt that my future will be promising.
I have no doubt either. You want to know why? Because the only one genuine in this was Alan. He was the only one that it was his self throughout. He was the only one that really didn't come off bad. He had the one little instance where, like, is he drinking and driving? Is he not? But then throughout, when he made the decision, you know, different times to not drive, I'm pretty sure he was fine. And just Madison overplayed that. And she was the one with really the drinking problem anyway. So other than that little hiccup, maybe, he was very good the whole time throughout. And he seems like a genuine dude. And I'm sure the girl he's with now is probably going to be happy. Hopefully they'll be happily ever after. But Alan was the only one that was genuine the whole time. Well, another season in the books, a crazy one at that, but it's over now. And, you know, at this point, I'm not really confident that any of them are going to stay together. Thomas and Camille are kind of teetering, I think. The rest of them, they're done for. But you know what? It's all good. It was a entertaining season, we'll say that. Wasn't really the love, it's all about the love kind of season that, you know, you might expect. But it was a good, entertaining season, so obviously we'll be back when the next one comes around. Make sure you hop on and see. I'm probably going to jump in and do the Amazing Race because I like the Amazing Race and it's fun and it's entertaining at points. So hop on that. I'll probably jump in there next week. Also, we still got 90 Day Fiancé on Sundays. And I don't know, maybe we'll do a Bachelor in Paradise because it's entertaining and a really crazy train wreck of a show when it comes on this summer. So keep all that in mind. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. If you want to support the channel, drop us super thanks. Y'all are awesome. I appreciate everything y'all have done and all the support you give. Thank you so much, and I will see y'all next time.